focus rather to football now. A data company, Laduma Analytics, has tracked Bafana Bafana's world ranking fluctuation ahead of today's World Cup qualifier against Zimbabwe. That match kicks off at the FNB Stadium at 9 o'clock. The team is yet to be beaten under their current coach, Hugo Broos, and they are on an upward trajectory, according to the numbers. Football data analyst Lindelwe Moyo joins me now. Very good evening and welcome to Newzroom Afrika.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So let's go through the first numbers, and those are the world rankings. Laduma Analytics and yourself did a deep dive into those world rankings over the last 30 years. Just how much can we read into world rankings? I suppose this is always a question, especially after what we saw happen this afternoon. Ethiopia ranked well below Ghana, actually holding the Black Stars to a 1-1 draw.
Absolutely. So I think the world rankings are probably the oldest form of performance analysis for national teams. And so they've been around for a long time, and they're arguably the most reliable stats that has been used for the last 30, even 40 years. It's a bit outdated now because more data has become more available, but at the same time, it still tells the best story when it comes to national team performance, not for a single match, but for a period of time. So the rankings are collected on a monthly basis, and every month, each country gets a new rating and either goes up or goes down. And what we see with Bafana Bafana is that in the last few months, they've been on an upward trend, and they're actually going higher and higher, up to levels that haven't been seen for a very long time. In the last month, they went up 7 places from the position they were at last month to the one they're at this month, and it's the highest climb they've had since 2014. So on an upward trend that they are, it shows a very good story.
And I suppose those numbers are important, although many people do debate the formula of the world rankings. I see you say that the world rankings they're still reliable.
They are still reliable. I mean, many people debate them because teams play different number of games. Some teams who are qualifying for different tournaments don't get a chance to play when their tournament is not in question. So that's why many people doubt them. It's because they cover 200 countries that play football, and it's very hard to use the same measuring stick for every single one of them. That's where the weaknesses come. But then if we were to focus on just one team and look at Bafana Bafana and see how they've been improving, then we can see that over the past few months, their performances, which we know by the qualifying that they are close to in this group, we know that they've been doing very well. And this graph and the rankings kind of echo that thing that we know.
Yeah. And there's also that interesting statistic that South Africa have conceded the fewest amount of goals. In fact, only 2 other teams during this stage of the World Cup qualifiers have actually conceded less, that being Mali and Tunisia.
Yes, Mali and Tunisia haven't conceded any goals yet. And then South Africa is next, with just 1 goal conceded in the 4 games. Obviously, alongside a few other teams that have conceded 1 goal. But then it shows you the kind of effort that has been put in to make sure that they're a defensively solid side, especially in matches that have been played away from home.
Well, tonight's match, it's advantage South Africa against a team and players that they know well, Zimbabwe. Let's look at what happened in their last match because I suppose this will give us a little bit of an indication of what we can expect this evening.
Absolutely. So if you look at that last game, we have a passing network that shows how the players connected throughout. So which player passed to whom and how often is shown in that network. The thicker the line, the more passes went between the 2 players, and the thinner the line, the less passes went between 2 players. And what we see in that network is a lot of thick lines at the back end towards the goalkeeper. That shows that there was a lot of movement among the back 3 or the back 4, including the goalkeeper, and less movement up front, which is not surprising because it was the first game that Hugo Broos had in charge. And so you could say it was a cautious approach, and that is reflected as well in the scoreline, which was 0-0, and not much was created by both teams, to be honest. So it wasn't a fault on South Africa's part, nor a fault on Zim's part. It was just a cagey affair, that's the traditional word, and we saw not much created. So we may not see the same tonight, but then that is the one indication that shows what we saw the last time. But then the situation is different now. South Africa need a win if they want to put pressure on Ghana, who lost earlier today. And Zim, well, they are more or less out of it, so they may adopt a different approach. So depending on what the two coaches aim for, we could see a different type of network, which would be interesting to see after the game.
Yeah, and I suppose also we've got some different players that will also be featuring in that last match against Zimbabwe. Two key players there, Tepelo Morena and Gift Links. And this evening we've got Percy Tau. I know that he also played in that match against Zimbabwe, but he is back after missing the Ethiopia back-to-back matches. And Keegan Dolly also returning to the Bafana Bafana setup.
Exactly. Now you have bigger names who could make a bigger difference as well. And the play could go through them more than it did with the players last time. So what you see on that network as well is the colored circles. Each circle represents a player. And the colored circles shows you basically which player was busier on the day. And in that instance, it shows that the goalkeeper had a lot of passing to do throughout that game, followed by Tepelo Morena, who's in the pink. So in this game, we probably see a Percy Tau or Keegan Dolly being the ones with the red circle, meaning that most of the play will be going through them.
So next up for Ghana, South Africa first have their match this evening against Zimbabwe, but it is Ghana hosting South Africa in Ghana in the Cape Coast before the third round of CAF qualifiers for the FIFA 2022 World Cup. What can we expect in that match, especially after what we saw in Soweto today from the Black Stars?
I think what we expected at 1 p.m. today is different from what we can expect at this point, because that result left everyone so shocked, and it means that the game against Ghana is going to be very big. So the visual you have now is a short map of what happened when Bafana Bafana met Ghana the last time. And to be honest, it was one of the best performances Bafana put up if you were watching it visually, and the numbers confirm that as well. It shows you in the yellow all the shots that Bafana took, meaning they put pressure on Ghana enough, and they deserved their win, even if it came via a late goal. But on the other side, they restricted Ghana to almost nothing, and it meant that by the end of the day, if Ghana had got something out of that game, they would have been very, very lucky. So going into the last game, I don't think as well we'll see the same setup, depending on what happens tonight. I think the main focus should just be on the next 90 minutes, which is Bafana versus Zim tonight. And we shouldn't think too much about the last game, which is in Ghana in a few days' time.
Okay, so Lindelwe, the million-dollar question is, with your data scientist, your football analysis brain, give us a winner for this evening and a scoreline.
I think there will be a motivated team, and Bafana Bafana will win narrowly, not too high, either 2-1 or 2-0.
Lindelwe Moyo, he is a football data analyst with Laduma Analytics. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us and some very interesting graphics. And that is how we come to the end of your sport for this evening. From myself, Evelyn Kirkley, and the rest of the sports team that's been able to bring you your sport today. It's goodbye and good night. Benjamin Lashaw